feel about what you accomplished overall through this?
I mean, everybody feels good this time of the year. The thing that's most positive, I would say, for the most part, we had pretty good attendance. We had the majority of our guys here for the duration, and I think that it's been fun to kind of watch how these guys grow, especially guys maybe going in their second year. They're so much further along than they were a year ago, and that's some of the conversations that we have. And then getting the new guys in, getting them acclimated to how we do things and the standards that we have here. And so, but you got to continue to work. Just because we're done now, it goes on to the next phase. And now we have like 40 days roughly before the start of training camp, and you can't take your foot off the gas for 1 second in this league, because if you do, people are going to bypass you. So we got to keep pushing. These guys are going to, they shoulder most of that responsibility in regards to how they go about training and taking care of their bodies and doing the things that they need to do to be ready to go when we get back here for the start of camp.
Was that exactly, or almost exactly, the message you gave them in the huddle today?
It was much shorter. I feel like we've been kind of talking about this stuff for a while now, but I mean, bottom line is you got to work. I don't know anything easy that's worthwhile in life that comes easy without putting in the work, and so. Yeah, but those guys got to take it to heart. I mean, ultimately, it's up to each individual to put in that work to come back and be in a better place, and then collectively, hopefully that adds up.
At the end of today's session, so that's like Mark Murphy's last practice, right? And did you present him with something today?
Yeah, so the guy signed a helmet for him, and certainly, obviously, and like, I think I can speak for everybody within our football space, just how appreciative we are of Mark and the kind of leader that he is. And I think as great of a leader as he is, he's an even better man. And just, appreciative of the opportunity to be a part of this great organization. And certainly has changed my life, my family's life. But I also I love the way he leads. I mean, he's going to let you do your job, and but he's also there, and he's very supportive all along the way through the good times and the not so good times. So, he's very special to, I think, all of us here.
Man, even though you talked about the limitations throughout this, minicamp and OTAs, you did, challenge to still be sharp, executing wise and technique. When those 2 minutes and some of the red zone stuff you worked on, was it at least at that level that you wanted to see?
Yeah, again, I mean, it's not real football right now. There's no pads on, so, it's just more or less these guys got to be ready to roll when we come back. Was it July 22nd? And then we'll have some of the guys that are going to be coming back a few days early. We'll have the quarterbacks, the rookies, and some of our injured players. There's actually it's a pretty long list, so we'll have about half the team back here a little bit early.
What's the biggest goal for yourself this offseason, these 5 weeks?
My biggest goal? I think it's always to kind of, you do want to get away a little bit and recharge the battery, because we know what's in front of us. And so I think it's a great opportunity. The one thing I love about just especially being in the NFL is not that you don't unplug from everything, but it does give you a chance, an opportunity to really connect with your family. And I think that's important for all of us. But you still want to stay connected, even though you might not be seeing everybody on a daily basis. And that's one of the priorities, is to make sure you stay connected with everybody.
You mentioned injuries. I'm not going to go through the whole list, but Quay within in practice, we didn't see him, and also Rasheed Banks and Jaden didn't practice again. Any concern for first day of training camp?
I would say, hopefully not.
Quay scooted past us yesterday since he has to make the trip from upstairs to wherever he's going. happened to him during the off-season program?
I wouldn't say it was during the off-season program. I think there was some just residual effects from the season.
What are your expectations for him? I mean, he suffers that ankle injury, maybe that's what it is, in Seattle, but it seemed like he had really turned the corner in those games.
Yeah, I think we collectively have high expectations for him. He's a guy that I think just going into year 2 of this system, he's mentally much further along and having just a foundation of playing in this league now for a few years. And he's played some really good football. So I think the challenge is not only for him, but every player is how consistently can you go out there and play your best football? And I expect him to be ready to go and play his best ball this season.
I know every player is different, but like Hawkinson in Minnesota tore his ACL, and it's a different injury and everything else. But then he wasn't ready until November for those guys last year. I'm not a doctor, and you said neither are you, but watching Christian in these days that we've been able to see him, it's pretty darn impressive. Are you allowing yourself to get your hopes up that you might have him?
Probably not, to be honest. Yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Like the guys that are available, that's who you coach, and that's kind of where you focus. Not to say like it is exciting to see how far along he is, and he's been doing a great job. He attacks it the right way. I think our trainers have done an outstanding job with him, and I think he's in the best spot possible considering the circumstance. So he will give us a boost whenever that is. Whenever he comes back, I expect him to give us a boost.
I asked Jordan Love the other day, specifically, for this third year, what can you do in terms of really picking up a mental connection with JV, Dobbs, and Wicks as you get into camp at the start of the season? Do you see him looking at you discuss that with him?
Yeah, I think just it's like anything. The more time on task you have, the stronger you can build that rapport with those guys. And just in terms of all the little body movements that each guy individually has, reading their body language, I think it allows the quarterback to anticipate a little bit better in certain situations. So, yeah, I think those guys have done a great job. They always communicate. They do a great job with that. I think Jordan's been more vocal than and we need him to be, quite honestly. And he's got to take that upon himself. And I just don't know many quarterbacks in this league that aren't the voice of not only the offense but their team that are, all the great ones do it.
A bunch of your day 3 rookies, considerable time during this. I'm not asking about their physical, being ready physically, but just being ready to go as far as mentally ready to jump in.
You're saying a lot of the day 3 guys?
Yes.
Yeah, like Colin and Williams and.
Right, and Micah Robinson.
Oh yeah, Micah.
So
Yeah.
I'm not asking how they're going to be physically, but are they
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I think I think they're attacking it the right way, but where they're going to be, I couldn't tell you. I mean, it's just kind of a wait and see type deal. But I would anticipate those guys being ready to go, at least if it's not initially at the start of training camp, sometime throughout training camp.
physical practice, will they be ready mentally?
Well, I mean, I don't think. I mean, I couldn't tell you that until we see it. I mean, I don't think anybody can. But you got to. It's hard. It's one thing to be out there and being able to regurgitate sitting down in a nice, cozy environment. It's another thing to go out there when things are happening extremely fast. And I think the only way you find out with any of these guys is you got to put them out there.
I know your job is to coach the team. You're not negotiating contracts. How important is it that whatever needs to be resolved with Elton gets resolved so you guys can get going with your best 5 on the offense?
Yeah, that's the beauty of my job, and what I talked to Elton about this is just I think since he's been back here, the communication's been great between him and I, and you know, I just I expect him to be ready to go when we come back, and you know, he's a guy that I really respect how he works. The product, obviously, that he's put out there from an individual standpoint has been pretty impressive. You know, he's fought through some adversity, but he's going to be a big part of this thing.
Now, we're about to talk to Wyatt in a little bit in the other room. I just wanted to ask you, where do you feel he's at? Like last year, he started strong, kind of slowed down by an injury. Just what are your expectations for him?
Yeah, another guy that, what's he going to year 4 now? Yeah, it's crazy how fast this goes. But, yeah, I think he's had some moments where he's been outstanding, and I think we can build on that. And I think he's done everything we've asked him to do from, you know, throughout the course of the offseason. I think he's in a much better place, and I think he'll be ready to go to, again, another guy that I expect to go out there and play his best ball going into year 4. Well, he's different in a lot of ways than some of the other guys, and he definitely has some great explosiveness and could be a real valuable weapon out of the backfield, I think. And we saw that when he was healthy. It's just he's got a guy that's got to prove it. He's got to be able to go out there, and it's certainly not for a lack of effort. This guy, he spent the majority of his offseason here. And he's been in a much better place, I would say, right now. So I'm excited for him, but ultimately he's got to prove it.
Can I ask you a 30,000-foot view question to close out? I look at your team, and you got Wyatt and Quay and all those receivers and Luke Musgrave and the young safeties and Carrington Valentine. You have a ton of really good football players who've had really good moments, but maybe haven't put together full seasons. If those guys are who you think they are, including your quarterback, what do you think your team could be capable of?
Well, I think, you know, that's a great question because I don't want to put too much out there. But I think we're capable of being a really good football team, a really good competitive football team. But it's not just going to happen. Again, it goes back to the work, and collectively, we need everybody to be their best individually in order to be the best team we can be. And it's not going to be easy. We know that. And but those guys have embraced every challenge we put in front of them. So I'm excited about this group, but ultimately we got to go do it.